Hi, everybody. It's Robbie reporting live for Sports on the Hill podcast. I have a special guest that I'm going to bring in just a second, but let's just go through the quick stats in this game. So we had to rely on a goaltender that has not played since 2017 in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and this is his history. His name is Craig Anderson, and the reason we had to go to him is because Vitek Vanacek on the first goal for Boston went down and injured himself. And so suddenly it was a 1-1 game, and you had to go to Craig Anderson, who had gotten a win recently for the Capitals, and they were able to score the next goal with Brendan Dillon. That was his first goal of the playoffs, assist by Anthony Mantha, Mantha Ray merch. I'll put the link in the description when I put this out there. And then but Nick Ritchie on the power play tied it up. The first goal was brilliant by Tom Wilson, though. It was a great goal. He realized the defender didn't have the stick. His stick was broken, and he did a give and go with TJ Oshie and then picked the top corner. It was his first goal of the playoffs, TJ Oshie's first assist. Daniel Sprong got an assist on that, too. So it's 2-2, goes to the third period. There's no scoring, goes to overtime, and Nick Dowd tips an amazing goal by TJ Oshie with an assist by Tom Wilson. And I was talking to people in one of the Caps groups, and I said, wouldn't it be great if Tom Wilson got a game-winning assist? I actually said I wanted him to get in a fight and then a game-winning assist to get the Gordie Howe, but I'll take the game-winning assist. He had a great pass to TJ Oshie, a shot from the point gets tipped in front by Nick Dowd. It goes in 4:41 into overtime. They win 3-2. A lot of penalties called on the Capitals, not many penalties called on Boston. I didn't think that was quite fair. I'll bring that up with Carol in a second. But overall, Craig Anderson came in and stopped 21 of 22 shots against in 51 minutes of play. Vitek Vanacek played 13 minutes before that injury. He had stopped 3 of the shots before that. With that, we're going to bring in our special guest. Let me just stop the share. We'll bring in Carol now, and we'll talk about this incredible win in overtime. Carol, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good after I done bit all my nails off. The first game of the playoffs going to overtime. It is playoff hockey. Great way to start the NHL playoffs, and it's even better that Tom Wilson got the first goal of the 2021 playoffs. So all those folks that hate him, that's what you get.
Yeah, what a great give and go by TJ Oshie. I had his jersey on to start the game, and then I thought he got injured, but luckily I think it was just a retape because he came back pretty quick. So I was really scared. They had to put TJ Oshie's return to the lineup, but they put him in the center position because Kuzi's still out on the COVID list. And I was a little worried because he's kind of out of position there. I mean, he can be a playmaker. I don't want to say that he can't be, but he's better as a goal scorer, right? I want him scoring goals, and being on the wing, you have a better chance at that just by position. And so I think Kuzi hurts us long term. I hope he can come back in these playoffs. Samsonov actually just got cleared to come off the COVID protocols today. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. And it'll be interesting to see how hurt Vitek Vanacek really is going into this next game. Copley was able to actually be on the bench for the end of the game. For people who don't know, you're allowed to put a sub in for a goalie. If you have an injury for a goalie, you don't have to play with just one in the playoffs. So I didn't know that necessarily before. It makes sense. But for the other players, if you lose a forward or a defensive player, you have to play down a man. But for goalie, they need, for insurance purposes, they need to have someone. Let's say, God forbid, the other goalie got hurt. Like, what do you do? So.
Like you were saying, going back to that first goal, it was a beautiful give and go. It was unfortunate that, fortunate for the Capitals that McAvoy broke his stick. They played it perfectly, and Tom Wilson hit the top of the net. That's the beauty of his. That's why another reason why I love him, because he's skilled and he's physical. So you get the best of both worlds. And it's unfortunate with Kuzi. Hopefully he'll get back in the line, because we were talking during the game. The passes weren't as crisp. There were a lot of in the skate passes. And did you notice that they were holding on to the puck a little bit too long? The defensemen, especially like Jensen and Orlov, wasn't doing it as much.
Yeah, Orlov was good. I have to say, there was some people talking trash on Orlov before, and I thought he had one of his best games of the season tonight. Actually made 4 or 5 prime defensive plays that could have been goals easily if he didn't make the right play. I know they're not the flashiest of defensive saves, but they were solid. Do you know what I mean? And they were in key moments, I think, in that game.
Yeah, it was more good. Like I said, nobody's going to be perfect. I know I'm always critical all out, but there were a couple of times I was like, okay, move the puck. Stop holding it so long. But like you said, he did make, 4 or 5 crucial plays at crucial times in the game. So I'm not going to be super critical on him. TJ Oshie, he's going to be playing inspired hockey this postseason with just losing his dad. And it's only fitting that he got the assist, even though folks thought it was the game-winning goal. But him playing at center with Kuzi out, that's why I'm hoping Kuzi be back soon. Because like you said, him on the right wing, it's a whole different ball game when you got him, being a scorer and not trying to be a facilitator. And the goal that Dylan got that was tipped by the defender, that's his first goal ever in the postseason. And then it's fitting that Nick Dowd gets the tip in for his first ever playoff overtime goal. So it was a good game. 3-2. You said somebody in some of the groups you were in were predicting that is the.
Well, no, the Caps. So the Caps did this thing where they gave away these packages of goodies, for the playoffs, right in front of the thing. It was like a drive-through, so fans could come through and pick up their gear, and so they could wear it. And they had people like Alan May and a couple of other Caps alumni out there meeting them or whatever. And so they're interviewing some of them, and they said, "What do you think the score is going to be?" And 2 different people said 3-2 in overtime, and those are the only 2 that actually gave scores. And I was like, it's so random. And then when it was 2-2 and going to overtime, I'm like, man, I hope that they're right, because that's some crazy shit.
Yeah, I hope they bet that or something. So they make some money off of it. But I'm gonna ask you, what did you think about Mantha's play? I felt like he wasn't really engaged. I felt like it might have been being on the big stage for the first time. He wasn't really playing his normal game.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. He was grinding it out, though. He made some great plays along the board to free some stuff open, too. So I just think it's one of those grinded out games where it's just, both teams played really well. It wasn't like it was a 2-2 game for a long time. And I think Boston just played phenomenal in this game. I really do feel like they put it out there and they really pushed the tempo, and they made it so we didn't get very many scoring opportunities, especially on the faceoff. I think, I'll put up the stat real quickly for the faceoffs while we're talking. And for me, it was they won 60% of the faceoffs. And at one point, it was even way worse than that. I think we actually, over the last period in overtime, did much better and won some key faceoffs. But just early on, just getting destroyed in that. And then the Bruins, they had a lot of power plays, but the hits, the Capitals out hit them 51-41. But the Bruins had 19 block shots. So again, it's just a really close game. Capitals outshot them 32-26. I thought they were good at shot suppression, giving Anderson a chance in that. But for me, it was just a really gritty Eastern Conference title wait. This could have been a conference final a couple of years ago. It's one of those type of matchups. It's crazy they have to face each other in the first round, but
But the thing you mentioned was the hits, and when the Caps wasn't the cut, that's what they did. They hit and they wore you down. And when it was time to put you away, it was over. That's how they closed all the series on the road. They going to out physical you. Yeah, Boston played a good game. They gave a great push for being on the road. Now the Caps got to come back and match that, because when you go to Boston, if the Caps can play their game and be physical, and they were the second best road team in the league this year, so it's going to be critical on Monday that they hold serve and get another effort like this. Hopefully, Kuzi may get cleared since Samson always got cleared, and maybe Kuzi gets cleared tomorrow.
I wondered, my dad was asking me about that earlier, and I really don't know. I think that they're not necessarily related. I don't think just because one guy gets cleared, it is even an indicator of the other one, because we saw in the previous time when the Russians did they all came back at different times. So it doesn't. I wish that it would, and I hope he does, because I kind of am eating my words, because my TJ Oshie out of position isn't good, but he had the game-winning assist, and he still had 2 points in this game, right? So he's crucial.
But just imagine him in the wing.
I want him on the wing.
Kuzi changes the whole dynamic of the Capitals when he's playing well, and being off the ice this long. Hopefully, it won't take him too long to get that rust off, and start getting back into the groove. But when he gets into his spot, then everybody else falls into their slot, and then they can play Capitals hockey. Like I said, because of Oshie playing center, we didn't see those crisp passes, though. in the flow of the game and not having to backtrack. Granted, you said it correctly. Boston played the hell of a game. They were hustling. They were back checking. They weren't giving up on the hustle play. They was out there trying to take that first game, and the Capitals found a way to win. So if we can get Kuzi in the lineup and, you know, get everybody to fall back in their slot, then I think it can be an even matchup, and then I think the Capitals will have the advantage. But as you mentioned with Vanacek, I was watching NHL Network after the game, as always, and he made a good point since it was early in the game and he really hadn't been tested. His body reacted to the play faster than his brain did, and they were saying that, you know, because it was early and he hadn't really had work, his body was still cold. So hopefully it's not major, but we'll see. So
I don't even know what you do now. I mean, it's a tough position between the goalie situation, because if Sam comes back, he hasn't played in a while. And
I'm riding Craig.
Yeah.
I'm riding Craig right now.
Yeah, I think you got to, right?
Yeah, because coming off cold and putting up that one goal, he had some rebound control issues, but he only had 4 games this season. So there's going to be something that, you know, he's not going to be 100%. But that one goal that he gave up, you know, was a deflection off of, you know, it was a hockey play. So I say put him back out there and see what he can do with, you know, knowing that he's going to be the starter. And you never know what you're going to get. And you still got Samsonov if something goes wrong in the wings. And that's if Double V isn't hurt for a long time.
I'm so happy that they put someone like him on the taxi squad, right? And I'm so happy that he got some playing time down the stretch in what I think is now a pivotal game that he got a win and some confidence, right? Because imagine if he hadn't played since the previous game. Like, that would have been... And so the Caps played this well down the stretch to, you know, get themselves into a position to be able to have a Craig Anderson and someone who's a veteran goalie. I'll remind people who might not know this. He got them to the Eastern Conference Finals of a not that great Senators team. You know, our team is much better in front of him. So 4 years isn't that long. I mean, you know, I think that having a veteran like that could be crucial there.
I mean, you saw how happy it came up tonight. I would feel more comfortable with Craig Anderson in goal than Phoenix Copley.
Right. Yeah. Or maybe even Vitek Vanacek. Not that he hasn't had an amazing year, but this was his very first playoff game ever. And you've got a guy on...
I wanted to see him go the whole game when I saw he got, because I had missed the score, but by the time I got home, I was recording. I went back and looked at it. It was unfortunate because I felt like I wanted to see what he was going to do in his first playoff game.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in on the Facebook Live. We actually had about 8 to 10 people who've been watching this the whole time. If anyone had any quick questions, they can shoot them over. But real quickly, a programming announcement on Monday that since the Caps game is going to be on, we're not going to try to compete with that. And I can't watch the game and do a show at the same time, especially if they're going to be as intense as that game was. Definitely not. So, and I don't want to try to do a post-game show because every game's a 1-goal game between these two teams in the playoffs, both of the last times that they played. That who knows? I don't want to go to multiple overtime and then us do a crazy late show. So we're going to do our show on Tuesday in between games 2 and 3. And then but the Wizards may actually be playing on Tuesday live. So if they play their playing game while we're doing our show, that might be pretty crazy into itself. I will give one quick shout out to the Wizards. They've put themselves in position. If they win tomorrow against Charlotte, they get the 8 seed, Carol. They will have jumped all the way from the 10 seed or maybe even being out of the playoffs all the way to the 8 seed and play that 7-8 game, which is a double elimination game. So they're not a single elimination anymore. So big win tomorrow if they can do it. If not, they lose to Charlotte, they can go down to the 9-10 game. A big game for the Wizards tomorrow for sure. But they now control their own destiny, which at the beginning of the week we didn't know was going to be possible. Carol, anything quick on the Nationals? How have they been doing?
Unfortunately, they got a run in the top of the 7th. Now it's 9-3, bottom of the 7th. Trying to see who's pitching. That's I can't remember his name. I can't see his back in jersey, but yeah, it's pretty bad. They put up 17 runs last night on Arizona. Joe Ross had a rocky start. He only went 4 2/3, giving up. I think he gave up around 5-6 runs. He gave up a three-run homer, which kind of blew the game open. Nats were down 3-2, and the three-run homer just changed the whole context of the game. The Diamondbacks tacked on a couple more runs. Now it's 9-3, bottom of the seventh. One out, and Will Harris on the mound right now. So unless the Nats can make a miraculous comeback, look like they'll be going for the series win tomorrow at 1:05. And we'll break all that down on Tuesday night on Sports on the Hill podcast and Nationals Talk.
Yeah, so we'll do 9 o'clock like normal with the Caps talk, and then we'll recap the 2 playoff games and briefly mention that one tune-up game against Boston as well, because I do think that it set the stage a little bit for this game. And then we'll preview the next couple of games for them as well. And then we'll get into that Nats talk right around 9:45 is when it usually hits, sometime between that and 10 o'clock. And then we'll hopefully, if the Nats win that game, they'll at least have an even week for the series, right? Because right now they're going into it down 3-2 for the week.
Yeah, they won 2. They lost 2 against Phillies, and they got this first game. Yeah, they'll need to win on Sunday. If the score stays the same, yeah, they win on Sunday to even their week out, 3-3.
For sure. A good piece of news. The DC United got their first win on a 1-0 win on Thursday night. So that's good for them. So shout out to them for getting a win. All right, well, we got a lot more on Tuesday.
One more note, since we're going to cover in the one more sport. Yeah. All the Washington football team rookies have signed their rookie contracts. Nice. And they have rookie training camp starting today. So they're already putting in work. So now we covered 4 different sports in this little post game, man.
Exactly. That's what we do on Sports on the Hill podcast. So yeah, check us out Tuesday. I'll be live on Twitch, Facebook Live. Carol will be live on his Facebook, and then Twitter and YouTube and all that stuff. So you can catch us on all the different streaming things. Hopefully we will have a second win to talk about. That'll be a big game on Monday. So you won't see us on Monday, but watch the Capitals root them on. Hopefully we'll do a post-game show like this on Monday. So maybe you will see us, but we'll let you know on that. Obviously, I only do post-game shows if we win. You can see that I ended up being babyface. I hate it for the record. But Carol didn't do it. He kept the shave look, but he's never done it. So I've only one time ever not kept the goatee, and it was in 2018. And my wife was pregnant then. My wife is pregnant now. I'm trying to keep things the same.
Right.
I'm taking one for the team. Luckily, I'm a Jew, so this thing will be back maybe even by Tuesday. So we'll see how the playoff beard goes from there. But thanks everyone for tuning in and checking this out on a Caps post-game show. What a fun win, a great win for the Capitals. Go Wizards tomorrow, big game. Try to get that 8th spot. I really think it could be a difference maker, especially if they could win that 7-8 game. They actually move all the way up to 7th, Carol, if they can get that. And if they move all the way up to 7th, we play the Nets, who I think are very beatable, and the Wizards have beaten a bunch this year. So could be a really huge swing. If they can win tomorrow, win that next game, then it's one and done. All I have to do is win that one game. So
I'm going to go out there. It'll be ironic. I'm not going to say I don't watch, but that'd be crazy if they make that move. They beat the Nets, and then all the anti-Kevin Durant fans are going to be clowning him for going to Brooklyn and not coming to the – if that happens, we're going to have to do a special on that.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy. We have a lot of games that have to win, but not as many as you would think, so it's closer than I ever could have imagined even 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, let's root them on. Westbrook celebrated his 182nd triple-double with an awesome jersey at center court, and he went out and got his 183rd one and a win that set them up to have this awesome chance of an ending here. So he led all statistical categories, Carol. He led steals, led rebounds, led assists and points for that team, and only had 1 turnover and 2 fouls. And he made, I think, 75% of his free throws. So it's a pretty great night for him to celebrate that. So any of the haters out there that still exist, obviously he's been our MVP. So especially we did it without Bradley Beal. So, I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Hopefully he'll be ready for the game tomorrow, or is he ruled out already?
I think that they'll probably keep him out for that one, but we'll see. I don't know if they've announced it yet. I haven't seen some. I think they were waiting to see how the results of some of these games went today, because whether or not we would set ourselves up. And we have to thank the New York Knickerbockers for having a huge win that sets up this whole possibility, because they beat Charlotte today to set this up. And then also we have to thank the Lakers. They were able to beat Indiana, so that helps us clear the tiebreaker over Indiana if we end with the same record. So Indiana also plays tomorrow. if we win, it doesn't matter, but if we lose, we need Indiana to lose as well. So anyway, those are the scenarios, and we'll break that down on Tuesday, and we'll either preview the Wizards playing game or talk about it live if it's actually happening that night. So the time for that game is yet to be determined. So, all right, well, that's enough sports talk for tonight, and so we hope that you guys all have a great rest of your weekend. And let's go Caps on Monday, and let's go Wizards tomorrow, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday. Carol, any final thoughts?
Tune in Tuesday for Sports on the Hill at the Bar Radio. We're taking a week off, so we'll see you on Tuesday.
Sounds good. Have a good one, everyone.